So for Boxing Social, delighted to be joined here today by unbeaten heavyweight prospect Nathan Gorman. We're here at Fredericks ahead of his rematch with Kamil Sokolowski this weekend in Brentwood. How are you, Nathan?
Very well, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you, very well. So, Kamil Sokolowski,
yeah.
He's somebody that not many people want to fight once, and you're fighting him twice. Tell me a little bit about that.
I think there's something wrong with me, isn't there? Yeah, we got a rematch, you know, with Kamil. We had a fair few opponents pull out, you know. Like Frank said, it's I'd imagine it's very difficult to matchmake, you know, such short notice. But you know, fair play to Kamil. He's a fighter and he's a fighting man, and he's took it. And we'll be going to war on Saturday.
Now you're one of two people who have stopped Kamil Sokolowski. He is a hard man. The fact that you've already stopped him, is there any chance of any sort of complacency going into the fight? Are you reading into that, or are you approaching it as a sort of a fresh fight, a new contest?
Yeah, you know, I'm approaching it as a fresh fight. You know, I've trained, you know, a different fighter back there. You know, I've even had him in the gym sparring me. You know, it's a different fight, isn't it? So I've trained differently. He's probably a different fighter. You know, he's coming off a good win, so his hopes would be through the roof, wouldn't they? So I'm expecting the best Kamil Sokolowski on Saturday.
Tell me a little bit about training camp. Seems to me that every time I open my laptop, something from you or Ricky comes out, with Ricky singing your praises. I know that's not always been the case, certainly behind closed doors with yourself and Ricky. I know he's partial to giving you a kick up the backside.
Oh, he loves doing that.
Tell me a little bit about preparation for this.
Very well, you know, after the Sean Turner fight, I had 2 weeks off. You know, I had a bit of time out with the family and stuff. Then I've been back in the gym, so end of June, beginning of July, I've been in camp. You know, I was due to fight in Leicester, you know, on the Cattrall and Davis card, but my opponent pulled out on the Thursday night, about 11 PM. They phoned up saying I broke his hand or something in sparring, but you know, injuries happen in boxing, and obviously I couldn't get an opponent in time. But we're here today, and we have a fight on Saturday.
Now you mentioned that Leicester card. We saw your rival Daniel Dubois extended the distance for the first time against Kevin Johnson. Did you catch the fight?
I did, yeah. To be fair, I watched it. He'd done what he had to do. You know, he'd done the 10 rounds. It wasn't like the most exciting fight in the world, but he'd done what he had to do. You know, he's probably ticked a few boxes in his own head that he can do 10 rounds now. Just to me, that Kevin looked like he was in journeyman mode. You know, he just didn't want to know. He just threw the odd shot here or there, and there was nothing coming back. So you got to remember, if there's nothing coming back at you, you can easily control the pace. So you can do the rounds easier. You know what I mean? Daniel's throwing the jab. You know, it was all in his court really. He had nothing to worry about.
How would you have approached that fight differently? Stylistically, you were a very different proposition to Daniel. Yeah. If you would have been in the ring with Kevin Johnson that night, how would you have approached things?
Well, obviously Daniel, you know, he's very good at the basics, 1, 2 and that. You know, so I'm very good at body shots, uppercuts, hooks, all the other stuff. So that's would have been my main forte. You know, when he was sitting on the ropes, I'd have moved around, you know, changed the angles and threw punches in bunches. And you know, they're the ones you can't really block. You know, when Daniel was throwing his jab and the 1-2s, he was just deflecting, just moving a bit. That's why it made it look boring.
Now, Frank mentioned in the press conference that he'd like to build the fight. You and Daniel Dubois potentially down the line for a title would be a big fight. You want that fight now. I appreciate you're a fighter. That's what fighters do. What do you make of that? Frank wanting to push it. I mean, yeah, that whole situation.
You can understand where Frank's point of view. You can understand where he's coming from. If he builds that another year or so, say we fight another 5 times, we both are unbeaten, we're both nearly on the verge of 20-0, unbeaten, the winner could possibly go into a world title. You know, it's a big fight. You know, a lot of people want to see it, don't they, between me and him. Like you say, you can't mention me without him and vice versa. And a lot of people want to see it. Granted, I'd fight him this Saturday, where you can understand where Frank's point of view. He wants to build it. Money, innit? It comes down to money. Build it, you know, the more money they get.
Now, something that I read the other day that I didn't actually know, you shared a flat with Daniel Dubois, is that right? You roomed together. What was that like?
Oh, it was exciting. Yeah, I shared a flat with him in GB. And then, to be fair, when we was on the Three Nations, I was in a room with him for 4 days when we boxed in Scotland. So, yeah, that was fun.
Who made the tea?
None of us.
When you're rooming with somebody, I mean, do you have like an eye on a potential fight in the future? I know you've sparred countless rounds together, but do you kind of size each other up? You're both heavyweights, you know that you're both going to turn pro. Is that something that you've sort of looked at from a very young age, from a very early point in your relationship?
Yeah, from the minute we met, you know, we was both heavyweights, trying to compete for the Great Britain spot, you know, on the podium squad. So the minute we met, we was rivalries. So we never had a very good friendship. We just like hello and goodbye type of relationship it was on GB. But over the years, it just grew a bit more, sour kind. But like you said, we're both heavyweight contenders, so minute from word go, we was rivals. So we couldn't really get pally, could we really?
All being well and you come through Kamil Sokolowski again this weekend, what kind of timescale are you looking at for challenging for titles? Obviously the British, I think, is kind of in limbo at the minute. Is it going to be one of you has to challenge for a title before the other? Do you see yourself progressing at a faster rate than Daniel? What kind of timescale are you looking at for getting that fight?
Well, hopefully, in December, I'm on the December the 22nd bill. We're hopefully looking at, a top 20 in the world opponent. We're looking for someone really, how can I call it, really experienced. So, but obviously, Sokolowski is my main criteria this Saturday. I've got to get him out of the way first. I want a tough man to get out of the way.
Kevin Johnson, maybe?
Kevin Johnson. I'll stop him in a couple of rounds, probably.
Is there any extra pressure on you, or not pressure, but yeah, kind of like pressure to perform this weekend? I mean, Daniel didn't set the world alight against Kevin Johnson. Is there that kind of added pressure that you're putting on yourself to kind of go out there and really make a statement against Kamil Sokolowski, who boxing fans know is a very tough and game competitor?
Yeah, definitely. Every fight you got to impress. That's what gets the people talking about you. If you go in there pulling off 10 rounders, ball fest, of hugging and jabbing, they don't really get interested, do they? Fans don't want to see that. Unfortunately, it's the hurt business. They want to see blood and snot and everything, don't they? That's what they paid their hard-earned money to see. So hopefully, I get a good win on Saturday. That's my main. I don't want to go in there reckless. I just want to go in there and do me. And hopefully, what I'll do will be a good win on Saturday.
And just finally, you're a very nice man. And Ricky Hatton has said this to me in the past, that he thought that at times you might be too nice. You have to have a bit about you to be a heavyweight. In your last fight against Sean Turner, you showed a different side of you, that more nasty element sitting down on your shots. Is that something that you're going to continue to work on? Do you still feel that you're growing into that kind of nasty mentality?
Of course, obviously, it's just experience, isn't it? I'm just a nice person outside the ring, but when I get in the ring, I'm switched on, focused. I gotta do a job on this person, because if I don't beat him, where do you go from there? So that's what you got to think of. I believe I'm going to be a world champion, so I need to get these opponents out of the way.
Okay, well, Nathan Gorman, unbeaten heavyweight sensation. Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social. Always a pleasure catching up with you. See you in action on Saturday night.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.